So we made some breakfast and a latte, and now let's talk about work some. I wanted to talk about some things that have become clear since time has passed. I've had some time to reflect on things. About 3 weeks after losing the job I loved, I realized I'd been punishing myself for something that's not my fault. If you're in this situation, make sure you're hearing what I just said. It's not your fault. And I know that it's not my fault because I gave everything I had to that job. So, and I'm super glad that I did. I left nothing on the table. I did everything that I was supposed to do and more. So I am confident in that knowledge that I did everything that I could. And there was nothing, there's nothing that keeps me up at night thinking, oh, if I'd only just done this thing, maybe that would have made a difference. That's going to drive you bananas. So don't do that. Sometimes the numbers are just against us. I did all the things, and I'm sure that you did all the things too. And I did them really well. So we have to move forward with the confidence that we did what we could, and this is not our fault, and we should not be punishing ourselves. Another thing that became super clear to me was that selling your time to someone else is very expensive. And so, yes, we have to work, most of us, unless you have a trust fund, which good for you if you do. You're probably not watching this video though. You've probably already noticed, if you're laid off, how much money you're saving by not going to work. So the first weekend that we had that I didn't have to go to work on Monday, I realized I wasn't running around buying groceries and running errands and meal prepping for the rest of the week to make that easier. Things I bought for that purpose sat dormant. My food prep containers, my lunch bags, thermoses, my work bag, my office clothes and shoes, the makeup, skincare, my gas tank stayed full longer. And you might say, oh, Mickey, but we have to do those things in order to work. And you do, and that's true. But we can assess our needs against the expenditures and make decisions on where to simplify those. Now, if you have a remote job, it cuts down on some of that stuff, which is good. But also sometimes you lose the social aspect of work, which is something that I really enjoyed. I thought I was an introvert, and I think I still think of myself as an introvert, but the first couple of weeks, it felt very strange being at home alone all day long, all day. My partner gets home from work around 3 o'clock, so it's not like I'm here from 5 in the morning until, 10 at night or something by myself. It's really not that long. So not everything we learn in the process is going to be practical. Some things are emotional, and it's quite a journey. There may be people who got laid off before you that maybe you didn't connect with after that, and because it feels awkward, but reach out to them. I'm speaking from experience in case that sounds like it's coming out of left field. It's not. So there were people that I lost touch with, and the other day I drove by the area where I know this person lived, and I was like, you know what? I should reach out to her. And I did, even though part of me was like, it's been so long, maybe I should just let it go. And I thought, no, I'm gonna do it, and if she doesn't answer me, I completely understand. So I did, and we ended up having a lovely lunch and a great visit, and it just reminded me of some of the wonderful human beings that I've been fortunate enough to work with throughout my career. And so that was good. And there might be a case where you did reach out to someone right after they were let go, and that person decided they couldn't handle it right now. And that's okay. That happened to me as well. And when I lost my job about a year after that person left, that person reached out to me and said, I'm sorry that I handled it the way I did. And I was like, I don't have any ill will. Like, it's a process. It is a grieving process. And it's hard to talk about. And so even talking about it here is awkward, because you just don't know what people are feeling, and I don't want to assume how someone feels or how they see me. It's just difficult. And I've been dealing with layoffs throughout my career. The first one, newsrooms feel like a little bit of a different beast. The first one I went through was in 2008 in a newsroom. I worked in a newspaper. And it just felt like since then, journalists are just used to layoffs and expect them to happen. And there was never any feeling of that awkwardness. We also had a union, kind of, a bargaining unit, and I think they kept people connected. They would set up gatherings of people who had been let go. This is really hard to talk about. It's hard to talk about. The corporate world just felt, the atmosphere feels a little bit different than a newsroom. It just does. There's a lot more corporate stuff going on, and that's okay. It's just the nature of the atmospheres. Okay, let's move on to something else. Okay, that's weird. I had some other things written down and now they're gone. Okay. What was it? I wanted to say something. There it is. Control Z is a wonderful thing. Okay, the other part of this is be careful about living in the past. As you mourn your former role, it may also be mourning a former life. I loved my work, and I would have done it as long as possible. I still wake up some days sad. I'm not mad. I'm just genuinely sad because that life and that job don't exist anymore. And we have to make peace with that and move on. It feels similar to me as when I went through a divorce. I'm having to make the same kind of decisions now about my growth. And decide if I'm going to let this alter who I am fundamentally. I'll learn from it, but I refuse to become bitter and angry. During the hard moments in my brain, I'm like somewhere like a year down the road, and people are saying, oh, she was never the same after she lost that job. And I don't want to be that person. So no, we're not going to go down that path. We need to take the skills that we learned in whatever jobs that we've had in the past and amass those and start to spin them into something better. And you have to do the work to get there. And that's really all I have today. I have had a few job interviews, no jobs yet, but perhaps something coming soon, I think, maybe. But I've thought that before and it didn't happen. So keep your fingers crossed and keep pounding the pavement, so to speak, and do the work, and we have to believe it'll work out. Have a great day, everybody.